Greetings. If you're new here, my name is Nikki. Welcome to my channel where we get nerdy. I think it's probably given by the title and the thumbnail as to why we are here. We are here for January's wrap up. So, January went surprisingly well, comparative to how my reading went last year. Down here, I have my laptop with CawPile open, and I'm going to go over the books I've read this month. How many have I read? Oh, I'm missing a book. I'm missing a book on CawPile. Like, oops. I can still give you a rundown and just add it later. So, I read 7 books this month. I am so proud of myself, you have no idea. First book we read was Among the Hidden. I'm going to just put covers here. Among the Hidden by Margaret Peterson Haddix. This was a physical book that I owned. It is a dystopian middle grade. After running it through CawPile, it got a raw score of 7.71, which is a 4-star. I owned this book. So, but it's the beginning of a new series, so not starting off fairly well with wanting to complete series this year, but still, you know, we still finished a book. It's written, I said this in my weekly wrap-up, I think this book is a little too dark to be considered middle grade. However, it is way too short and easy to read to be considered YA. Take with that what you will. Basically, Luke is a third child where it is illegal to have 3 children. So, that I can't say much more without giving away information. Next, we read Cultures of the World, South Korea. This was a children's book I got from the library just because I was curious. I like learning cultures, and I figured since I was reading a South Korean book, knowing a bit about the culture will help put some of it into context. The issue I had with this book is it read like a textbook. So, running it through CawPile, raw score was a 7.29, making it a 4-star book. So, it's technically part of a series, but at the same time, it's a series in the sense that there's a culture book for several different countries, and I don't think I really need to read all of them. You know what I mean? Then I read I think it's Zatanna and the Ripper is how you pronounce it. It's a comic I found on Webtoon, so I read it as an ebook. So I didn't own it, so that's an upside. So we're working on not buying books. It's about a girl that is a magician. Her dad is a magician. Something happens that she gets transported back in time to the, Jack the Ripper era. Blah, blah, blah. Raw score on CawPile came out to a 6.71, which is a 3-star, and if you do half stars, it's 3.5. It was good. Like, I might keep reading the rest of the comic. I might not. Like, you didn't get really far into the story. So, take with that what you will. Next, I have Fairest of All by Serena Valentino. This is Snow White from the villain's perspective. but it kind of humanizes the evil queen a little bit more, that which I really liked that. Because I think what we need to do more is humanize villains, so that, because we need to realize that real people can be the bad guys. It's not always this big bad monster. You know what I mean? But this was a buddy read with my friend Michelle. We love Michelle, but she is busting through these buddy reads way faster than I can. So I gotta catch up. This came out to a 7.57 for a raw score, making it a 4-star book. Across the table, like, even if you include half stars, it's still a 4-star. After that, I read Will My Cat Eat My Eyeballs by Caitlin Doughty. This is a book that a mortician wrote, where she answers a bunch of questions that she gets from little kids. It's super easy to read. It has some great quirky moments. There's some comedic relief. It's not all dark and gory and gloom. I enjoyed it. I learned some stuff. I helped my kids learn some stuff, because they would ask, like, what question are you on, Mom? And so I'd tell them the question. And so then they would start to inquire as well, which in this house, we have the belief of, if you're old enough to ask, you are old enough to have an age-appropriate answer. So we don't hide it from our kids. This came out to be, raw score was 9.43, making it a 5-star. I enjoyed it. There's not much else I can say. After that, we read Illustrated Stories of China. This is kind of an anthology put together. It's a children's book, again, but at the same time, it was enjoyable. It reminded me of those anthologies I was read as a kid, like Aesop Fables and things like that. So I enjoyed it thoroughly. Raw score on Cawpile, we got a 9.29, making it a 5-star. Last book on Cawpile, but I still read one more book this month. Last book on Cawpile is I Want to Die, But I Want to Eat Tteokbokki. This is a South Korean memoir. QY, I read a book on South Korean culture. This is by Baek Se-hee and translated by Anton Her, I believe was his name. I enjoyed this book. Not for the same reasons I enjoy reading my fantasy and my sci-fi books. I enjoyed this book because it was kind of a breath of fresh air amongst all the fantasies I was reading. I'm enjoying getting into nonfiction again. That's all I read when I was younger. From like 5th grade to like year 9. So 5th grade to 9th grade. All I read was nonfiction. I never read fantasy or anything else. I love watching documentaries, so it was nice to get my love back into nonfiction recently. And this helped scratch that itch for nonfiction. I loved how she transcribed her appointments with her counselor and then had this like mini reflective essay at the end, because it helped me process some personal things as well. Yeah. So this was worth all of the 5 stars, and I really want the second book, but it's not it's translated, just not available in the US yet. And once it is, it gonna be mine. The last book I read this month is The Beast Within by Serena Valentino. Again, it is, this is where I'm kind of confused. Like, they call it the villain series, but why is Beast on the cover and not Gaston? Just want to throw that out there. I enjoyed it. It was good. I don't have it run through Compile, but my guess it's going to be about a 3.5, maybe a very low 4-star. I wasn't overly thrilled by the entire thing, but it was all right. Like, I read it. So we are going to continue the series. The next one is Poor Unfortunate Souls. Michelle's already read it. She read it in like a day, but it's a lot shorter than the last two. So I have it on my Kindle already, so I'll probably just, once I'm done this, pop over and... Yes, I have a Kindle like you. Pop over and read that. So.
And I haven't seen
it. You're not very observant then. Because it's right there. So, remember, until next time, you are loved and you are valid.